In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all how I made $36,000 in 4 trading days. I'm going to be sharing with y'all my entries, my exits, and most importantly, the reason why I took the trades to begin with. All right, so let's dive into it right off the bat. The very first trade that I took was between Friday the 19th and the 22nd, and it was on Apple. Now, the reason why I was watching Apple for a trade was because of the 4-hour time frame. Actually, yeah, the 4-hour time frame we do. So there was a line of resistance right at 241. There was an ascending triangle on the charts. It was cooking throughout the week right here between the 12th and the 19th. And all I was waiting for was for the breakout above 241. And the moment it did on the 19th, I ended up buying call options on there. So as you can see, about 50 calls of the $250 strike, the contracts that expire on Friday the 26th for a total of $7,150, 8 minutes before the market closed. And then over the weekend, on Monday, after the market opened, I sold half of my contracts for $8,125 2 minutes after the market opened. And then I ended up selling the remaining half of my contracts for $8,155 literally a minute later. The price target that I had on there, again, I could have done better on this trade. I definitely could have done better. So the entry right here near the close, and then the exit was as soon as it broke through 250.5. Like the exit was right here in this candle, and I should have held a lot longer because my price target was 255. All right, this had massive loss. I left a lot of money. I left about 19 grand on the table on this trade. Some people in the Discord kept holding and made a bit more money than that, percentage wise, I mean. So yeah, lots of room for improvement on this trade. Where is it going to go next? Is it going to go higher? I definitely think so, especially when you look on the left with the futures being green right now. Eventually, it's going to break above 257. It's only a matter of time, okay? And also be on the lookout for the volume. Now, the second trade, I almost forgot. The profit for this specific trade was $9,000 for Apple. 9,100 between Friday and Monday. Right, now the next trade was on Oklo. All right, now with Oklo, this one I was watching it for a while. When you look at the daily chart, this stock right here extremely overextended. It went from the lows of $25 all the way up to $144. And as soon as it got up above 130, I was just stalking the stock and just patiently waiting for this thing to give me a sign that the top was in and that this thing was ready to collapse. All right, so first and foremost, pre-market, it tried to break above 145. It couldn't. All right, and it started to form a line of resistance. First, we got the rejection right there, followed by another rejection on Monday the 22nd, followed by more rejections. Again, this is second and third. This is Tuesday, second and third. And then we got another rejection out the open on Wednesday the 24th. And then the final rejection came afternoon on the 24th. So I saw this thing, and I started off by buying put options. About 10 contracts of the $130 puts that expire on the 26th of September. I started buying at 112 because, again, I gave out warnings that I wanted to short this thing. This is weak. It's either gonna fall on that specific day or by the close you really collapse. So I was really watching this thing. So about 10 contracts for 3,500, and then at the end of the day I added 18 contracts further out of the money puts, the 125 puts that expire on the 26th, for a total of 6,745, right? So the total cost for that trade was like 10,200, I believe. And my sole purpose for this specific trade was to short it back down to the previous level of support of 110, because that was from this level right there. That was my whole goal. Short at the top after these rejections, and then cover as soon as we get the drop. And that's evidently, as you see here, that's what we got. Pre-market on Thursday, this thing started to fall, and as soon as the market opened, I couldn't sell immediately out the gates because the chain wasn't moving until 8:35. And as soon as 8:35 hit, that's when I decided to sell my contracts. I sold 10 of them. The 130 puts, I sold them for 14,850. Again, 8:35. And then I sold the 125 puts, all 18 contracts, for 19,350, making a total profit for this specific trade $24,000. All right, now let's go back to here. So all of my exits was right there as soon as that candle closed, and I was able to actually sell the contracts. Now with Oklo, is it going to go lower? Yes, but I think it's gonna play games first before it decides to continue down. The bubble is still it's still up there. There's still a lot of room at the bottom, so I do believe that it could still fall. I do believe that. Now, the next trade that we're going to discuss in today's video, we're going to discuss the video. All right, and I decided to take the trade on the video for one simple reason. I think this was on Thursday or Wednesday. Okay, so this trade came first, and then I took the Oklo trade. All right, so we gotta look at this one first. So I took a trade on the video on the 24th because of this bearish pennant that y'all see on the chart. It is there, it's quite clean, and it broke down right at 10:30, right here. Okay, so let's go into the Robinhood account, and this is the 24th. I saw the bearish pennant breakdown, and I ended up buying 70 contracts for 13,860 right at 10:34, right here. And then I ended up selling all 70 contracts about 21 minutes later for 16,520. And then I ended up getting back in again with 10 grand about a minute afterwards, just to sell it for like $600 in profit. And then the last trade was pretty much this one. I could have done better because I got back in, but I should have held this one for a little bit better to my actual price target that I had on there. So I ended up getting in and then immediately just getting out like a minute later. Terrible execution right there. But let's look at the actual trade. So let's look at the 1 minute. That way we can get more candles on this one. And let's look at what happened. So we got the bearish pennant, the breakdown, the entry, and then the initial exit was at 10:55 right here. And then the re-entry again for the continuation short. Best practice is to pretty much get in here and then hold, right? I don't know why I made this trade more complicated than it should have been. I really made one transaction, too many transactions. It was supposed to be one in and then one out, like I usually do. All right, I handled this one completely differently than how I usually handle things, right? But it was just a mess. It was a mess, but it was still a profitable trade. I ended up making about $3,100 in this specific trade. If I didn't get in and out, like it would have been 6,000 to 7,000 on the trade. All right, but because I was doing a little too much, that's why I left a lot more money on the table. So that pretty much explains all of these trades and how I was able to make $36,000 in just 4 days. Now let me show you guys exactly how everybody else did. in a Discord. So this was on Monday the 22nd from Apple. All right, first and foremost, somebody ended up doubling their money right here. Another person made 250 bucks. This is my Apple gains. Somebody else ended up making thousands of dollars, around 6,000 on Apple. All right, and then more people ended up making money, 1,300, as y'all can see right there. Y'all can pause the video. Also, if you want to see more of how everybody else in the Discord have made, I told y'all before, if I'm not posting on Instagram, if I'm not posting here on YouTube, I am on Instagram. All right, so definitely follow me on there, and you will see more screenshots of how everybody did. So this person ended up making 4,000 plus another 4,000, 8,000 total on Apple, and the list goes on and on. This person ended up making like 24 grand on Apple. Let's keep going to, again, y'all can pause the video and see for yourself, or you can just go on my Instagram. Now, this is what happened on Thursday. We were watching BE because BE was another bubble that I put in the watch list right here. So if you go onto here, if you scroll, you can see that on Wednesday, I put BE in here. Where is it at? I put BE, there it is. Yeah, so I put BE in here at like 78, and then I gave a price target of 60, and then some people ended up taking it. I ended up buying AVGO, which I made a little bit of money, but in reality, I should have bought BE like this person did right here. All right, it ended up making like $8,000 on the short. This is the NVDA trade, 3.1 thousands, and then this is everybody. This is how everybody did on Oklo, 1,700, and we're gonna scroll down some more. This person ended up tripling their money. And then shout out to this trader right here who made $17,000 in his first week with us in the Discord with Oklo. And then another person ended up making 800 bucks. So overall, it was a pretty solid week for us, a pretty solid month. This is what, $4,000 gains. And this is my gains from Oklo. And another person ended up making 900 bucks on Oklo. So again, all around, everybody did pretty well. That is the result of our trades, and that is the end of the video. Again, as always, do not forget to annihilate the like button as always. If I don't make videos on here on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram at Paul Nguma and at Patternology Lab. If you would like to trade with me, where I can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. The Discord link is the first link. All right, so one more thing. If you'd like to get some free stocks with Webull, again, you can use the third link in the description of the video below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.